different avenues, social media platforms. So this is going to take us a couple of seconds, and then we're going to get ready to get started. Okay, a little bit of patience. I'm going to be with you in just a second. Okay. Uh, okay, let me just activate my video. And hello, this is Jerry Torres. And again, thank you for being here for another homebuyer webinar where the goal is to teach you how to buy a house with zero down. Yes, you heard that right. How to buy a house with less than perfect credit for some people, such as entrepreneurs with no proof of income and with no problems. So let's dive into the content. This webinar is for you. If you are thinking to buy or refinance a house today or in the near future, and you just don't know where to start. This webinar is for you. If you want to buy a house and you don't think you have the money to do so, stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to buy a house with absolutely with 0% down. And I'm even going to show you how to finance a good portion of the closing costs so that you come with little money out of pocket. And this webinar is for you if you want to buy a house and you don't think you can because you have less than perfect credit. As a first-time home buyer, be ready to get shocked. You can buy a house with a FICO as low as 580. Let me show you how. This webinar, specifically tonight, you're going to be discovering again how to buy a house with zero down, how to finance a good portion of the closing costs, how to buy a house even if you have no papers or ITIN. This is for the foreigners. How to buy a house and how to receive a non-payable down payment gift. Certain people in some professions can receive the down payment assistance in the form of a non-repayable gift. Stay tuned and I'm going to show you how you can do that. And if you stay with me for the next 20 to 30 minutes at the end of the webinar, I'm going to show you how you can claim a $25 Home Depot card so you can start dreaming about the repairs you're going to be doing to the house if needed, or you just buy a house that is turnkey. Good or good. Okay, I'm going to teach you as much as I can in the limited time that we have together. And at the end of the webinar, I'm going to show you how you can take it further with us by booking a free, no obligation 30-minute consultation. Personally, I don't like to discuss, I don't like to answer questions over the webinar because I don't like to be touching on personal information for your own security. My name is Jerry Torres. I have 17 years of experience in real estate. I started my career selling houses as a realtor. Quickly, I became the #1 agent thanks to mentoring and coaching that I received through the Mike Ferry organization, the #1 coach back in those days. Now what I do is I do loans. Back in 2007, 2008, with the mortgage meltdown, I had to become a loan officer and my wife remain as a realtor. But nowadays, our goal is to originate loans. Since we have a family, when you sell houses, it has to be property. So that's why we're both doing loans nowadays. Our pride and joy, our kids, Rebecca, she is 5. She's about to start kindergarten at the end of the year. And Nathan, he is my bright little boy, my joy. All right, moving on. I love educating. I started hosting live classes because I like to educate people. I have an educator's heart, but then I quickly realized that I can reach more people by having these webinars online. So now, being a homeowner obviously has its perks. #1 is equity. It is projected the properties will continue to go up at a 4.7, 4.8% by the end of the year. There isn't any mortgage meltdown up in the horizon. Okay, people are saying that there might be a recession at the end of 2020. Nobody really knows. But a recession doesn't necessarily mean that the properties are gonna drop in value anyway. Now, the last recession, properties did go down because the recession was fueled by a lot of bad lending habits. You know, back in the days, if you had a pulse, right, you would qualify for a loan. That's not the case anymore. So if there were to be a correction in the market, it would probably be 10 to 15%, nothing like 60% like we saw back in 2009 when properties really tanked. So equity, if you buy right, again, you can build equity, profit. Uh, Especially when you're a homeowner and you occupy the property, you can accumulate up to $500,000 and don't have to pay not even a penny to the IRS in taxes because you have an exemption. If you're single, owner occupied, you can accumulate up to $250,000 in gains and don't have to pay anything to the IRS. So that's the good news, right? Now, anything that is tax and legal, I would advise that you consult with your professional. I'm going to be covering a few legal aspects, but I am not endorsed or qualified to do so. My advice is talk to your CPA or attorney before implementing anything that I'm going to be discussing tonight. Okay, let's go back to profit. There are many ways of making money in real estate. One, hey, you can flip properties, okay? You can buy and hold. You can buy a house as a first-time home buyer. My advice is always buy something small at the beginning, and then you can upgrade because you could be a first-time home buyer every 3 years, okay? So buy a house with FHA. After 3 years, you have to refinance this, get the FHA loan out of the way, get it into a conventional, buy a house, a bigger house, okay? And you can do that a couple of times, right? Uh, but every time you move, it has to make sense. You have to be buying a bigger, better property, okay? Now, obviously, there are tax benefits to being a homeowner. Number one, we already talked about it, equity. Properties are going up in value. Number two, mortgage deduction up to $750,000, depending on your income tax situation, your tax bracket, and so on and so forth. But I mean, those interests can help you pay less in taxes. Okay. What else? Any repairs that you do to the property helps increase your cost basis. So this is, especially when I'm talking to the investors now, because as an investor, again, the more money you pour into the investment, that cost basis increases. And if you have a gain, a profit, it helps you mitigate a lot of the tax liability. Uh, Upgrades, some of the upgrades to the property, especially on investment, can be deducted. Okay, it can be right off. And people use buying real estate as a way to create multiple streams of passive income to accumulating a rental property. 90% of the wealthy people in America have some sort of real estate holding, whether they own a house that they occupy or investment. So 90% of the population cannot go wrong, right? Buying a house. It's a good thing if you know how to do it. Okay. So buying a house could be a very scary process for a lot of people. Some people say, I don't know where to start. Do I even qualify at this time? Can I buy a house in my credit is less than perfect? And here are some of the questions that I like to answer during the next 10 to 20 minutes. So number one, who are the key players in the home buying process? Number one is your loan officer. You never want to start seeing properties without being pre-approved because you're gonna get emotional, you're gonna like the property. Then by the time of writing the offer, if you don't have a pre-approval letter in your hand, chances are your offer is not gonna get accepted. The other thing could be, the payment. You could be shocked with the payment. So you always want to talk to a loan officer before you start the home search. Okay. So my job of my team and I, what we're gonna do is we're going to see everything, your income, your credit, and we're going to give you a desktop underwritten approval, an approval that a human being and an algorithm is gonna see to detect that you qualify for the house. Okay. Once I have you pre-approved, or my team and I have you pre-approved, then we're going to give that approval to a real estate agent. You're going to have a sit down with your agent and express your wants and needs in the areas that you want to buy. Sorry, I'm getting a cough. Okay, so you're gonna cherry pick between 2 to 3 properties. You're gonna go see the properties and you're gonna write an offer. Once that offer gets accepted, then it's time to open title and escrow. So whose title and whose escrow? Title is a third party company that is going to ensure the title of the property actually belongs to the seller so that you don't get scammed. And escrow will look at the contract and consummate the transaction based on the terms that have been previously agreed in the offer. Okay, once we open escrow, there will be two parties that are going to be contacted right away. Number one is going to be the home inspector. Your realtor is going to contact a professional home inspection company so that you know exactly what are the conditions of the property. The roof is not leaking, that you have a good electrical panel, the foundation doesn't have any issues, that the windows open, that all of the outlets are grounded. There is a lot of things that they test so that you have no surprises once you move in. On my side, I'm going to be contacting an appraiser. The appraiser will ensure the value of the property is there, that you're not overpaying, or in the event that the property doesn't appraise to the sales price, more power to you. Your realtor is going to reach out to the listing agent and the seller to negotiate uh, an adjustment in price. Especially if you're a first-time home buyer, there is a clause by FHA that is called a mandatory clause. That clause, you're signing saying that if you're buying as a first-time home buyer, you're not going to be asked to pay money uh, outside of escrow or nothing like that. Okay. Now, there are different types of loan programs depending on your circumstance as a buyer. If you want to buy a property above $705,000, then you're going to need what is called a jumbo loan. The good news is we have a jumbo loan that only asks for 5% down payment. And the good news is this loan, we can originate it up to $5 million and it has, sorry, no mortgage insurance. The next one is FHA. FHA is a program very attractive to first-time home buyers where FHA would only require 3.5% down. They will finance the rest. It's very attractive because, again, you don't have to come up with something like 20% down when it comes to, for example, conventional. Now, that 20% conventional loan is good for investors where they don't want to pay that mortgage insurance against premium and they have the financial ability to pay 20%. Now, don't let mortgage insurance stop you from buying a house. Yes, sometimes mortgage insurance could be $200, $300, $500 a month. But if the property appreciates, if you're enjoying mortgage deductions, mortgage insurance, appreciation, all of those benefits, who cares about mortgage insurance? Now, if you are a veteran and you have fought for liberty, you have served in the Army, you're retired, you can get 100% financing by applying for a VA loan. This loan carries no PMI again, and it's a low down payment, actually 0%. Now, for the younger 62 plus generation, you could apply for a reverse mortgage once you have a property that has equity built in. And for some reason, if you want to tap into that equity, a reverse mortgage, like the word says, is something in reverse where you don't give a monthly payment, the bank cuts you a check every month. Okay. Any questions about these loan programs? Again, you can book a no obligation 30-minute consultation with our team and we can dive into the details. Okay, so what if you don't have money for the down payment or you are very short on cash? Can you still buy a house? And the answer is yes. How do you do that? There is an amazing state program by the California Housing Finance Agency, or CalHFA. That's how we pronounce that. They offer a variety of attractive loan programs to assist home buyers. How does it work? CalHFA, the way it works is you would obtain a first loan position for 96.5%. Okay. The down payment assistance comes in the form of a silent second for 3.5%, so that you buy 100% financing. Okay. That loan, we call it silent because you don't have to make payments if you don't want to. You have the option to pay payments. It carries a very affordable interest rate, something like 3.5%. You know, it always changes, okay? But it's very affordable and it's fixed interest, okay? So, and it's fully amortized for 30 years too. Now, this loan is repayable when you sell the house or refinance the house, okay? Now, if you don't have money for the closing costs and if you have a good FICO of 640 and above, you can potentially apply for a third loan position with the CalHAFA called the ZIP, the Zero Interest Program. And as the word says it, no interest on that loan, fully amortized for 30 years. Uh, and this can help you cover a good portion of the closing cost. Now, mind you, even though it's a 0% down payment program, you have to be ready to put a list, a deposit. When your agent writes the offer, you have to have some money ready, okay, to open escrow, and some money for the appraisal, which is like $500, 550, and the home inspection. That's gonna vary depending on the size of the home. So, you know, bottom line, you know, you need about 1%, which is closing, but it's not down payment if you use the call HAFA with my home assistance program. Okay, with this loan program, you can finance houses, condominiums, and huts. Unfortunately, you cannot buy a duplex. Mhm. Now, some people in some professions, such as police officers, border patrol, sheriffs, correctional officers, other professionals, sorry, in the law enforcement capacity, firefighters, paramedics, emergency medical technicians, including staff, teachers, people that work in administration, in public districts, you can receive a gift of 3.5% down through the Golden State Finance Authority. Good or good. So, can you buy a house with zero down? And the answer is yes. Now, the other good thing about this program is that they don't require you to be a first-time home buyer. You could already own a house and wanna upgrade, okay? And maybe you wanna leave that one as a rental, but the key is the new property you must occupy it as your primary residence. You can combine this loan with FHA, VA, conventional mortgages. The possibilities are endless. You gotta have a 640 FICO. That's the little fine print. Okay, getting started. There are a lot of things to consider when you're buying a house, especially if you're a first-time homebuyer. Knowing what lenders look into borrowers is gonna make the home buying process easier for you. Good or good. So there are three factors that all lenders are gonna look into borrowers before issuing a loan. Number one, legal status. Generally speaking, most mortgage programs, especially the zero down, are tailored for US citizens and nationals of the United States. A national is a permanent resident, aliens who have been granted asylum, refugees, Cubans, those citizens can receive assistance. Okay, now, what about the people that don't have a legal status in this country? Can they still buy? And the answer is yes, because this is the land of opportunity. God bless America. Now, we have something called the ITIN program. Now, the good news is, you know, I have 20% down in that slide, but we just got connected, you know, with another bank, you know, that we can partner up with, and they can help us issue a loan with only 10% down. Now, a lot of people say 10% down, 20% down. That seems pretty high. And the answer is maybe, right? Now, a lot of people have come to this country. They're business owners. They have worked hard and they have the financial ability to do so. If that's the case, you can buy a property with using the ITIN program. The good news about the ITIN program is that it's a program funded by private individuals. And a lot of times If the properties don't qualify, such as non-warrantable condos, you can buy those because again, the rules are looser when it comes to qualifying for the property. You don't need to have a social security. You don't need to have a green card. All you need is to have that ITIN number, the acceptance letter, or the card, and with that, we can help you out. Okay, moving on. The second factor that all lenders are going to look into borrowers before issuing an approval is income. As we discussed in the past, back in the days, you had a pulse, you could fog a mirror, that's it, you qualify. Because, they had the stated loans, where you stated, oh, yes, I'm making $1 million. And the banks will say, okay, I believe you, no problem. Your rate is 1% higher, but, here's the approval. Okay, and that's what caused the big mortgage meltdown back in 2007, 2008. Now, nowadays, income must be verifiable. They have to verify the income. So if you're an employee, the lenders would want to see a copy of your W-2s, check stuff. If you have a company, a corporation, if you're a business owner, they're going to want to see the K-1s. Schedule E, if you have rental income, 1099 INT, if you receive interest income, 1099G, if you're fortunate in gambling, and if you hit the lotto, they're gonna want to see that. Or 1099 MIC, if you have miscellaneous income. Overtime, bonuses, second job, seasonal work, retirement, and even Social Security can help you qualify for a house. Now, what if you cannot procure a copy of the income for XYZ reason? I don't want to know the reasons, but you don't have income taxes. Can you buy a house? And the answer is yes. We have different types of bank statement loans, okay? We have one where the banks only want to see 1 month of income deposited into your bank account, okay? With that one, it's when you have to be ready to give 25% down. We have another one that is more flexible, where banks want to see 12 months of bank statement, between 12 to 24 months, whichever one gives you more buying power, that's the key. With that one, they'll lend you 90%. You have to be ready to put 10%. There is no mortgage insurance. You can use business income to qualify, uh, and you can borrow up to $5 million. Good or good. And your FICO doesn't have to be that high, 600. You can buy owner-occupied properties, investment properties. You can even buy a property with this loan 2 years after foreclosure, short sale, bankruptcy, or deed in lieu. Good or good. You can buy houses, condos, townhouses. Okay, the last factor that all lenders are going to look into, they're going to look in borrowers before issuing an approval is credit. Three numbers, which are called FICO. And those three numbers are going to dictate how much money you can borrow, whether you can borrow with 0 down, with 3.5, with 10%, with 5%. Is going to dictate how much money you're going to be paying in interest. So it's very crucial to know how to create a good FICO score. And a lot of people don't know this. But 35% of your FICO is composed of your payment history. If you want to have a good FICO, always pay your bills on time. Now, can you buy a house even if you have two late payments within 12 months? As a first-time home buyer, yes, as long as they're not housing related, you could buy with late payments. Can you believe it? Yes, it's possible. Now, 30% is how much you owe. This is another secret, okay? How much you owe dictates the kind of FICO you have. For example, if you have a credit card with a line of credit of $10,000, sorry. If you want to have a good FICO, never charge more than $3,000. That is 30% credit utilization. Now, do you want to have an amazing FICO? Never go higher than 10%. That's the key, okay? The other 10% is credit mix. Lenders want to see that you're responsible with credit cards, student loans, auto loans, all kinds of different types of credit. The other one is length of history. The longer you have had credit, the better for your FICO. Now, What if you're straight out of high school or college and you don't have a credit history? What's the quickest, fastest way to create a FICO score? Well, that is, and this is the trick, you ask somebody you know that has a good line of credit, a good credit card, and you ask them to add you to those credit cards. You should be able to have a FICO within 30 days or less. The other trick is obtaining, even if it's a secure credit card. Capital One, it's a good place to go. You give a deposit of $300 and that becomes your line of credit. So how much are you going to charge? And 30 bucks maximum, right? 30 to $90. Okay. The other is new credit. So if you have new credit, that's going to drop your FICO. The older, the better. Very good. And as always, if you have questions regarding this, you can always book a free 30-minute consultation with our team. Okay, now, what if you have less than perfect credit? You've been naughty. You have a 550 FICO. Can you still buy a house? And the answer is yes. You can buy a house with a 550 FICO. Now, the little catch is you have to give 10% down. But if you raise it to 580, now you qualify as a first-time home buyer. Good or good? Imagine a lot of people have fears. What if, Jerry, yes, I want to be a homeowner, but what if I lose my job and I cannot afford my mortgage payment? And I'm going to be honest with you. It's better to be a homeowner and experience a financial hardship than being a tenant and go through the same process. Why? Because as a tenant, they'll give you 3 days to pay or quit. If you don't pay within 3 days, the next notice will be a 30-day notice. And if you don't pay within those 30-day notice, guess what? They can initiate the eviction process. As a homeowner, if you don't have money for the mortgage, 90 days will go by before the banks issue what is called a notice of default. After those 90 days, another 90 days will go by, and then the banks are going to record the notice of trustee sale. And another 21 days are going to go by, and that's when they will execute the auction. Now, at the auction, a couple of things can happen. Number one, you can file an extension by filing bankruptcy, if that were the case. In bankruptcy, if it's Chapter 7, it could last 3 to 5 months. Bottom line is this: you have options. You can reinstate the loan. You can apply for a loan modification. There are many things that you have available. As a tenant, 3 days, 30 days, you're out. And if they file an eviction, guess what? That's going to remain in your credit report for 7 to 10 years. So you never want to go through an eviction. Now, a lot of people say, Jerry, I don't know. I'm not very handy. Me neither. I'm very techy. I'm not very handy. So what is the solution? Obtain a home warranty. So when you buy a home warranty, and your realtor is going to recommend a home warranty when you write the offer, they're going to put it in there. The benefits of having a home warranty is if anything breaks in the house, all you have to do is pick up the phone, dial in, and somebody specialized in whatever the case may be, roofing, plumbing, electrical, they're going to go and take care of the problem for a minimum deductible. What's the deductible? It depends on the home warranty companies. It could be $60. Good or good. But you don't have to become a general contractor. You don't have to be a handyman in order to be a homeowner. Good or good. Some other times people say, Jerry, the payments are going to be too high. And while, yes, you might experience kind of a payment shock at the beginning, the good news is that if you buy with a 30-year fix, do you have to worry about payments going up in 30 years? And the answer is no. So you're locking in that payment for 30 years. Now, do rents go up, especially if you don't live in a rent controlled area? And the answer is yes. It's better to be a homeowner. Would you agree? Yeah. So if you're tired of people telling you how to live your life, lower the volume of the music. If you live on the second, third floor of an apartment complex or condominium complex, Even if you have kids, tell your kids to behave, to stop. I mean, kids are kids, you know. I mean, yes, there is. You have to teach them how to properly, conduct themselves. But sometimes, they're kids. So if you're already tired of that, if you're tired of your landlord telling you don't hang, frames on the walls, don't paint the walls that with that color. If you're tired of living in a small place, and if you're tired of your rent going up, okay, your landlord doesn't ask you for permission or forgiveness, then it's time to be a homeowner. Right now, we're about to next week. I think we're gonna be enjoying 80 degrees in California. If you like spending time in the pool like I do, then it might be a good option, a good idea to buy a property with a pool. If you love entertaining and having people over in your house for Thanksgiving, Christmas, if you like barbecuing, then having a barbecue is a good idea, right? Especially in the hot summer days that are coming. And if you need the space for your kids to play, you want to have them, you want them to exercise rather than being on the phone or in the tablet or on the whatever PSD device they develop right now, then it's time to buy a house. So here's the link. If you want to book a 30-minute, no obligation consultation with myself or my team, go to jerrytorres.pro/calendar. You can book a phone appointment, or if you are in the LA area, you know, I love to see you live as well. And the first five people that book an appointment are going to receive the $25 Home Depot card. Good or good. So run, book an appointment, and we look forward to talking to you soon and to help you become a homeowner. So again, thank you again for watching, for spending how long it's been? 32 minutes with me. Thank you for your patience. And we're here to serve you. We're not going anywhere. We've been in the business for 17 years. And remember, who you work matters. So this is Jerry Torres, Vision One Mortgage, your techie loan originator, and I hope to see you soon.